Hello and welcome. This is Natalia Cosentini here from Euro Essential, the Canadian distributor of Dr. Schrammek products. I have the great pleasure to introduce to you a new line of products, new inclusion to the Dr. Schrammek line, which is Ageless Future. It is a fantastic range of products, which I believe will really add to your kind of acumen of what you have to offer in a retail as well as professional range for your clients. So with no further ado, let me get started. I will take you through some of the main points to reintroduce the company and then, of course, introduce the technology behind the product. So for those of you that are familiar with Dr. Schrammek range, you know that this is a dermatologist centered line. There is an actual doctor who's behind the line of products here. She is an allergist and she is a dermatologist, so Dr. Christine Schrammek-Druzio. The company, however, started way before Dr. Schrammek was actually kind of involved in the company itself. And it was started by her mother. So this is a very much a family-owned business as well. Her mother was responsible for the production and for the kind of conception of probably one of the most popular herbal peels on the market today, which is, of course, the green peel. But in the late 1980s, as well as kind of going through a revamping in 1998, the line of Derma Cosmetics was added to the Dr. Schrammek family of products, so just beyond the green peel. And of course, today, we do have a new inclusion that I'm going to be talking about to you today in terms of its ingredients and in terms of the activity. But I just wanted to reinforce that there is a very long-standing history here of research and development, production of products that are unique, highly specialized treatments for even the most troublesome skin conditions, okay? So always looking at the most innovative, the latest ingredients, and really Ageless Future is a reflection of that. So a couple of things to add aside to the points that I already brought up is that it is a company that produces the products and sells the products out of Germany. So, of course, every single product adheres to very strict rules and regulations of European Union manufacturing. The ingredients, of course, are natural when possible. And you will notice that a lot of the ingredients are actually plant-based, which is very interesting to a lot of consumers who are a little bit more savvy within the idea of having ingredients that are more nature-derived. The efficacy is always proven and confirmed by studies. And of course, when it comes to the ingredients themselves, they are really reflective of the newest innovations, the newest studies. And this is going to be very true, actually, as we are introducing the Ageless Future to you today. Of course, every single product is dermatologically tested for its efficacy, but aside from that, also for its safety. So we know that whenever you are purchasing a Dr. Schrammek product, you're purchasing a high quality, high engineering of the product, and of course, something that will not potentially harm your skin in any way or form. So for those of you who are familiar with Dr. Schrammek line, you know that the Active Future has ceased to exist. We do not have these products available to us anymore. But however, in its place, now we are launching the brand new formula, which is Ageless Future. So with that in mind, let me take you through some of the concepts behind the line. Now, when you're thinking about aging, so Ageless Future, think about what this name actually signifies or what it may indicate to your client. This is actually a line of products that is definitely geared towards the consumer who is at the brink of aging changes within their skin. So definitely somebody who is wanting to address the unique aspect of early aging, okay? So what may be some of the effects of early aging? A couple of things that will definitely occur. Many of our consumers don't realize, but their skin starts to age early. So we are looking at 20s and 30s is where the aging process really starts. First of all, the aging process that may start here may not be observable right away, but you will notice that the cumulative effect of some of the changes that occur in our skin is definitely going to be seen a little later. So typically a client who is in their 20s, maybe to their early 30s, they will not need much more than a moisturizer. But some of our savvy clients that understand aging are going to come in and are going to be kind of indicating to you, what can I do that is proactive? Now that's where Ageless Future comes in. You want to have an Ageless Future. So that means that you want to have a well-protected, protected, but also well-corrected type of skin. So we're looking for somebody who probably wanting to include some new products, ages of 30 to 35, when most of the drastic changes started to actually occur, whether the backdrop of the skin is lucky enough and the chronological aging is definitely not kicking in just yet. But even for consumers sometimes that are looking for more of a not only prevention of aging in the future, but also in some ways correcting the aging to occur. So this is where we're starting to implement some anti-aging products. So the body's own regenerative ability of the cells is reduced. The skin elasticity becomes definitely more slack, more visible. The skin sometimes becomes thinner, sometimes becomes weaker. Sometimes it is, of course, the skin that becomes prone to wrinkles and hyperpigmentation. This is typically due to very unique changes that occur in the skin or in the body, I should say, earlier. And that is hormonal fluctuations, and we'll get to express that with a little bit more detail later. And in some cases also energetic aging. This is one of the new concepts that are going to be introduced to you today. So of course that can be accelerated if your client is, having an unhealthy lifestyle, definitely exposing themselves to sun, unprotected is what I meant to say. Of course, has a habit of using alcohol and smokes perhaps, and also does not exercise regularly. A lot of the times we notice that those are going to be the external, and internal, some of the factors, of course, stress, that can accelerate aging much, much more. And a client will very often notice some of these changes occurring to the skin. So early production and detection of wrinkles. So individuals in their 20s, sometimes in their 30s, will notice, I do have some static wrinkling. Even when I relax my face and I'm not making any type of expression, I'm still seeing wrinkles. Predominantly around the lip contour or eye contour. In particular, this is where this aging is the most visible. But one of the key complaints that a lot of younger consumers will have is that their complexion is lackluster. They feel as though they had lost that kind of viability, that super vitality in their skin. It's just not there, no longer there. And that is actually the aspect we're going to be addressing at the, very, very beginning here, which is that of cellular aging and the energetic aging within the skin. So roughness in the skin as an expression of that, of course, may occur. Is skins that may observe they are a little bit drier because their natural lipidic production in the skin has ceased to exist, and loss of elasticity and even pigmentation. Those are the key kind of elements of aging here. Now, so let's kind of scale it back a little bit and let's talk about some of the first occurrences of aging phenomenon. And this is, of course, to do with our cellular energy levels. So as you know, as you're young, your cells are definitely more geared towards, doing what you really need them to do. And that is to produce energy, the energetic output, the life-giving force. So what ends up happening within the cells is that they do produce a compound called ATP, so adenosine triphosphate, which is, of course, the energetic kind of output of what we are able to produce in our body. Now, of course, when the timing or the passage of time obviously occurs, this is going to slow down slightly at the beginning and then accelerate as you get older. So how does this actually affect our body, our cells? The energy potential, within the cells is reduced. This, of course, automatically will decrease the cell functionality, and that, especially in the skin, will then translate to a less vital appearance to the skin. So a lot of the times this, when we're just solely talking about aging within the skin, we can translate to as energetic aging. So like any of the batteries that you may have in your phone or any of the appliances that you have in your home, you know, the batteries within your cells have a programmed lifespan. And of course, as you age, this lifespan gets used up. The regeneration slows down. So there isn't as much of the replenishing effect in your body or in your skin. Of course, a lot of it is also interweaved with some of the fluctuations of hormones. And in females in particular, if you were to look at hormonal aging within our skins, you will notice that definitely estrogen and progesterone are very closely linked to kind of the acceleration in aging. And this is actually visible the most when somebody has crossed through the process of menopause, where the decrease in skin elasticity is the most visible, okay? So when we're looking at sort of the natural output of energy, where does it come from? There are very specific organelles within our human cells. This is very true for keratinocytes. This is very true for fibroblasts. So a couple of the cells that we typically talk about when we're talking about, skin, human skin. So what are they? They tiny little mitochondria, little organelles. What they do is they typically take what you give them. That means food, some type of fuel, and of course the main metabolite, which is your oxygen. This is then combined together in some way or form, and voila, you do have your cell energy output, okay, which is your ATP. So this, it happens on a daily basis in everybody's living body. But of course, when it comes, like we said before, to the passage of time, that battery charge, the actual keeping this activity vital, the state that your skin is, that it's, translating itself to a very luster type of look to skin, is diminishing. So it really is never too young to start to worry about this aspect. The aging, that is cellular aging in the skin, happens very, very early on. And we want to make sure that we are able to, actively counteract it. In the past, we did have some sort of ingredients that maybe had an effect on microcirculation, that maybe better supply of the ingredients that are then used up by your mitochondria to express the energy output. Those were the ingredients that were being given. Maybe we were using some form of exfoliants to sort of move the cells through our epidermal conveyor belt that were also, incorporated. But we really never had something that addresses the energetic level within our skin until the conception of some of the ingredients you get to meet today. So Ageless Future, in an essence, is a highly effective dermocosmetic line that is looking after keeping the battery charged in your skin, the quote-unquote batteries, and it also improves the outcome of some of the hormone-related changes within your skin. So this is where we use up ingredients that are not only safe, but by research proven and well documented, either traditional substances that we've noticed have effect on the skin, or some type of ingredients that have been obviously made by human hands, but had shown to have a very, very specific outcome in the skin. So the result that we're looking for in terms of using this line of products is smoother skin, fewer wrinkles, firming skin structure. And of course, this will be with the aspect of full skin protection on every level of hydration and antioxidative potential. So let's look at some of the ingredients that we have in Ageless Future that I am going to actually introduce to you in a bit more of a detail here. We do have Sytenol A, which is an extract of a natural plant called bakuchiol. This is actually something that has been shown to have an effect of that it can be actually compared to some of the retinoid activity within the skin. Now, Oleavite is an ingredient I'm going to actually start with, because this is our star ingredient within the formula here, and it is the real cell activator. This is what's going to keep the batteries of your cells supercharged. And then red clover, which is obviously a phytohormone giver. And it is a plant that, again, has been very well tolerated, is well documented in use in skin that can lead to minimizing some of the effects of fluctuating hormones. And finally, for those of you that are familiar with green peel, you will know this ingredient, Horsetail. Horsetail is a great ingredient to add to any complex of ingredients that already battle anti-aging because it is a phenomenal supportive ingredient. And we'll talk about that in a moment exactly how. So let's meet some of the ingredient technology. The first one that I will introduce to you today is the award-winning cellular oil compound that is called Oleavite. Now, this is the world's first cellular oil, okay, that is derived from plant stem cells of the olive fruit tree. And the mechanism of action here is slightly different than anything else that you have ever seen before. This is actually where we have now a direct effect on stimulation of mitochondria. So those energy, the batteries of our cells, right? The energy giver. If you're wondering where this compound is actually specifically derived from, it's actually from the membrane of the stem cells that I had indicated. And why stem cells? Why not any other cell that may be in the fruit? The idea behind using oils that are from stem cells is that you now access an original cell, a cell that has not been differentiated into any other cell, and it has the highest biological potential. Okay, so when we're looking at some of the compounds that can be actually taken out of a stem cell, you might be familiar with it. It's been something that's been looked at in medicine for a very long period of time. Sometimes the scientists will even say maybe one day we're going to be able to halt aging altogether because of this. We're not there yet, but we do have the compounds that are very, very highly potential for specific actions within the skin. So the Oleavite is a phytolipid fraction, okay, that is, like I said, expressed from the membrane lipids of stem cells of the olive fruit. I know it's a mouthful, but it is an exclusive technology. In a way, it does actually act as a signaling lipid. So we refer to that as a lipidic raft. So this can actually talk pretty much straight to the mitochondria to help them to synthesize similar signaling lipids and, of course, increase their function and increase their energetic output. So that's the way that we work with it. Very, very different technology. If you notice, very kind of scientifically advanced. Now, how this is made a little bit simpler for your clients and you to understand is really noting the difference between cellular oil, which is a brand new concept in skincare, and of course, traditional plant oils that date back to 1,000 years ago. So obviously, when it comes to the cellular oil, the raw material that this is expressed out of are the stem cells of the olive fruit, the membranes in particular. The composition is that of signaling lipids, so those little lipid rafts that can carry some type of a signal into the mitochondria themselves. Now, biological function, it is that of cell control, material transport, of course, and cell communication. Now, if you, of course, compare that kind of vis-a-vis with traditional plant oils, you know that those typically come from olive fruit. They typically come from seeds, leaves, or fruit extracts. They are typically something that we recognize in chemistry as fatty acids, typically triglycerides. And what they are typically used for, so when they're in your fruit or fat in your body, it is usually energy storage. But here, of course, we use these type of plant-expressed traditional oils as carriers for fat-soluble substances. And a lot of the times that's vitamins or the acidic components, the fatty components themselves that can then contribute to some of the functionality of your skin barriers or have some type of occlusive effect in the skin. So let's just kind of summarize this by saying if you're working with these specific cellular communication type oils, this lipidic raft, the batteries of your skin, of your cells, are supercharged and they're being kept in the state of charge as long as you're using the product. So in that in mind, if you want to sort of summarize all of this beautiful action for your clients in a few very simple points, you might want to take a look at this. So when we actually study this ingredient in vitro, some of the effectiveness of mitochondria, on mitochondria in the human skin, we notice that it has a regulation effect of gene expression, and especially when it comes to synthesis of collagen 3. So definitely stimulating to, collagen production. Improvement of mitochondrial density, so the number of mitochondria that are included within the cell itself, and increase in fibroblast proliferation, so making new collagen-producing cells. Meanwhile, it also increased the antioxidant activity within the cells themselves and increased anti-glycation activity in the tissue. So very, very important, overall, very well-rounded ingredient in terms of anti-aging aspect. If you need a little bit more proof, you can look at the study that was, kind of supplied here by the producer of this ingredient. And in subjects that have been exposed to a level of the Oleavite for a 56 days of application, couple of the significant kind of outputs or effects have happened. So reduction of tool. We're talking about transepidermal water loss. So increase in the moisture potential within your skin tissue was definitely observed. Improvement of skin strength, so the turgor of your skin, was increased by about 20%. Elasticity has improved by 15%. Overall skin thickness by 13%. And reduction of wrinkles and wrinkle volume reduction by 21 and 13% respectively. So really, really effective ingredient. And this was, of course, a study that was compiled only based on use of the ingredient itself. When we're thinking now in a synergy aspect, so using it with other ingredients that can, work with it to better your skin even more. One of the ingredients that I want to introduce is Sytenol bakuchol, which is the extract of seeds of Indian bapchi plant. So I know it's a funny name here to learn. But what this is actually known for in a traditional sort of medicine, and especially when it comes to the Chinese traditional medicine, it has been used for many, many moons as a herbal detox, okay? So really, really fun fact about this ingredient here. But when we actually studied its effect in skin, we noticed that it has compounds of vitamin A-like substances that can definitely mimic what retinol typically does in a skin without any of the adverse effects. And this ingredient has proven to be so effective that even the Society of Dermal Pharmacy has recommended it as one of the main substitutions for using traditional retinoic kind of components or retinol components. So not only is it extremely active and safe to use, it goes a bit further. Prior to inclusion of ingredients such as this one, we did have some ingredients that we could substitute retinol for, but many of them were not photostable. But here, all of a sudden, you do have an ingredient that can be used even during daytime. So making it an absolutely fantastic ingredient. So in its respect to the skin, it has a very positive influence over collagen formation. In some of the in vitro studies have been shown to significantly improve the collagen stimulation while maintaining the intercellular substance, so the lipids that, unfortunately, when you're using any type of retinoic acid, you will notice that substance is compromised in the skin by a lot. So in vivo studies, so studies in actual human beings, showed very significant reduction in wrinkle depth. We're talking about improvement in pigmentation, elasticity, and skin firmness. And of course, when you're talking about kind of chrono-aging or photo-aging, that has also been vastly diminished. So very, very interesting ingredients, as you can see here. We also do have ingredient called the red clover. Red clover is an ingredient that is a great supplier of isoflavins or isoflavonoids, which we recognize very often as phytoestrogen. And this is where the diminishing supply of estrogen in a human body as we age, especially in females, is translated to the, obviously the increased amount of wrinkles and the loss of turgor and elasticity in the skin. All of a sudden here we have an ingredient that can trick our skin into thinking that it is youthful again. It has all the supplier of estrogen that it needs to efficaciously, sort of increase the output of collagen and elastin. So very fantastic ingredient here. On its own, it also has been observed to have some antioxidant and skin kind of metabolism enhancing effect in the skin. Fantastic ingredients. I cannot say enough about it. Now, in addition to this, anybody that has been exposed to the green peel, has had it done or has had performed the treatment on their clients, knows this ingredient very well. This is a #1 ingredient that is included in the green peel, and that is Horsetail. And Horsetail really gives you every support that you need to the previously mentioned ingredients. So, anything that regenerates the skin, that promotes production of collagen and so on, will need some type of materials that will further that action. And this is where Horsetail really comes in. So we're talking about a very specific species of Horsetail, a subspecies of Horsetail, which is Equisetum arvense. It is something that has been known to cosmetic chemists to have a high content of silicone, potassium salts, flavonoids again, caffeic acid, and various forms of its derivatives. So what this actually can do is stimulate production of collagen, but also help with overall circulation within your skin. One of the aspects of aging that is very often referred to is that diminishing potential of microcirculation. We do have an ingredient here that can definitely stimulate all of that altogether. So it does have a very, very powerful effect on metabolism and has a firming, strengthening action in the skin. So when you're thinking about mature skins or skins that are going through the transition of aging, one of the things that you will notice is actually the diminished potential of circulation in the skin. And this is exactly where this ingredient is fantastic to work with. Now, silicones or silica is also an ingredient that is absolutely vital to production of collagen. And it also sometimes is referred to as a detoxifying ingredient, right? So very, very sort of health conscientious. Now, benefits of Ageless Future. Now, overall, talking about the synergy of the ingredients, we're looking at effectively fighting against major factors of skin aging, either in a majorly proactive aspect, but also in some ways corrective aspect. So helps diet cell gain new energy, reduces lines and wrinkles, enables a firmer, even smoother complexion, protects and improves the intercellular substance, so the actual barrier functionality within the skin. That improves, of course, hydration or the capability of the skin to hold its own capacity of moisture, provides new vitality, contains innovative ingredients that are proven by research and well documented, even the most traditional substances, perfectly match product range too. So when we're talking about the product range, if you notice that there's only 3 products, but they really synergetically compound together so that you can actually use them to its highest potential, highest benefit. So let's take a look at some of the products that we do have in here. The main product that I want to introduce to you today is the Daytime Care Cream. So Ageless Future Day Cream. Now this one, of course, features the 4 ingredients we looked at in detail. It also has hyaluronic acid, almond oil, vitamin E, which I will review a little bit of kind of a repetition of the information for you. I know you know them well, but also an ingredient called IBR Pristinizer. So when you're thinking about including a daytime specific product, you're probably looking at a product that can filter some of the effects of the daytime kind of acquired pollution. If you're lucky enough to live in a clean environment, there's always going to be some elements of pollution that you will be able to find. So this will become a very, very effective ingredient for you. So this is actually an extract of a very specific desert flower. Sometimes this is referred to as a fragrant daisy. It grows in a very kind of, harsh environment. Think of a desert. Of course, there's lack of water. There's a high UV exposure. There's also sometimes maybe a kind of temperature shifts that happen at night. So this flower has been recognized in traditional medicine for a very long time as a fever and infection kind of healing ingredient. That, of course, has to do with the fact that it does contain a lot of anti-inflammatory aspects, and of course, it has a curative action because of it. But it contains essential oils, flavonoids, and tannins, which are antioxidants in this case. So how does this actually work on your skin? It also supplies compounds that kind of resist the extreme periods of exposure to environmental aggressors. So in the plant itself, this is of course heat, drought, and somehow this plant can survive, and it is like the only green element in the desert. So what it will do for you and your client's skin in particular, it acts as a protective shield, and this is against air pollution. It also activates the skin's own defense against toxins. And predominantly here, when we're talking about cigarettes, smoke, so for your smokers, this is going to be very phenomenal. Exhaust from, obviously, any type of manufacturing or car gases, and heavy metals in some cases, which is really a concern for a lot of individuals out there, depending where you live. So in vitro test studies, this is actually where we noticed that once your cells are subjected to this ingredient, the lifespan, particularly of keratinocytes, is extended. So all of a sudden, for you that might have a periodization of some of the cells, the normal sort of free radical damage that occurs within the cells, that has been extinguished to some degree. So obviously, when you're using the daytime cream, how this translates into simple benefits for your consumers: brings tired cells back to youthful level. It actively protects against premature skin aging. It gives a fresh, firmer, youthful appearance. It has an effective stimulation effect on collagen synthesis and also protection of that collagen fibers during the day because of the aggressors, and overall gives you a better look of elasticity and smoother, silkier complexion. So we want to make sure that we apply this product. You probably will need a good tea-size amount of it. It will go over the face, the neck, the décolleté. It is a very pleasant, I know that you don't have the tactile experience here with this product, but it is a very pleasant, almost gel cream formula that, again, for younger aging clients will be very, very effective. It will actually allow you to, not have a lot of oiliness or a lot of sort of leftover film. It applies to the skin. It protects very effectively, but it also absorbs very, very quickly. So with that, of course, we do have a daytime, but we also need a nighttime cream. So in a nighttime regime, a client will be incorporating the Ageless Future Night Cream. This one features, again, the 4 ingredients we've already introduced, but we also do have ingredients such as Shea Butter and Marula Oil, which will be a little bit more barrier building, right? So as you sleep at night, typically a lot of the times you're looking for that extra regeneration, the extra rebuilding of the natural, protective potential within the skin. So for your client, I am going to be able to give you some of the selling points, sort of. So it combats energetic skin aging. When you sleep, this is the most effective. Your cells are not bombarded with trying to protect. They're gearing out to energy output. So when you actually use this product, your cells are recharged overnight. So that, of course, when you wake up in the morning, translates to this look of vitality within your skin. And holy moly, does it ever work? I've used it on my skin overnight, and within the first application, I noticed a change in my skin to, the benefit of smoothing, tightening, like even firmness in the skin. But one of the things that I noticed is the vitality in the skin was regenerated. So very, very effective cream. If your client, for example, and I totally get it, has a favorite daytime cream and they don't really want to switch that up, they may be using it 24 hours, yes, use it during the day, but then switch to the nighttime Ageless Future cream because it will effectively counteract some of the effects of aging while you're sleeping. Now, the first gateway product for almost every client out there, again, client who is asking, okay, what if I just bought one product? What would I want to go with? Well, if you already have a good quality skincare routine, you can simply add the Ageless Future Serum as your first product to get introduced to. Now, this one, of course, has the 4 synergetic ingredients, but not only does it have it, but has it as a higher, kind of super intense, highly dose effect. And it also features brand new NIO-HA lab technology. So I'm going to talk to you about that. So obviously, this is a concentrate of active ingredients. So you can offer your client the highest amount of the ingredients we talked about, but this is also reinforced with an anti-wrinkle complex that is actually featuring a very specific type of hyaluronic technology. So I'm going to show you that in a moment. And it has a very, very delicate texture. So one that, again, does not leave any type of unnecessary film on the skin, but it absorbs very, very quickly into the skin. And it is ideal to apply before the final cream or the final application of your moisturizer. So what is this NIO-HA? This is a specific type of technology, which is sort of like the next level liposome. We actually refer to it as a niosome technology. And what this actually does, or what this actually looks like, it is a micelle of a sort. So it is a sort of a little tiny lipidic pocket that you can package with different type of ingredients. Now, the delivery, of course, will be that it's a lipophilic substance or structure that will then get very easily accepted by the lipidic content in your skin. So when you think about a water-based type of ingredient that sometimes is very, very hard to infuse into the skin because of the lipidic repellent action within our skin, we usually overcome the barrier with some type of astringent cleansing or pore opening type of facilitation. But here you actually have this built into your product. It carries a very, very unique substance. So this is a hydrolyzed hyaluronic acid, super broken down. It is that of a 50 kilodalton weight. So it is extremely micronized in any effect or in any way. It is able to be delivered deeper into the skin, and it is also able to provide you with an extra ingredient, which is camphorol. And camphorol is an ingredient which actually counteracts the natural breakdown of hyaluronic acid. So if you're thinking now, okay, how am I going to get to the closer effect of dermal fillers with the use of something that I can actually bring in via my skin? This is going to be probably the quickest and the fastest action that you can actually be exposed to here. So here what we have reduction of wrinkles by about 57%. We do have even the total number of wrinkles that is diminished by 37% and 54% increase in the dermal structures or the density of your dermis. So overall formulas that are very unique, very new in concept and in application. And we also are looking at some further ingredients that can be brought into your skin. And those are, of course, ingredients you may be familiar with, you may recognize very, very easily, which is sodium hyaluronate. This is sort of the precursor to the final production of your kind of hyaluronic acid structures. It is a long chain hyaluronic acid. It is something that can very superficially kind of lock in hydration. We typically give it some type of a value to your clients as to how this actually hangs on to moisture, water. Well, 6 liters of water can be held within 1 gram of this component. So a staggering amount of moisture that can be brought in. I know that there is a kind of a fashionable question that goes around in skincare today. which is typically clients will be asking, oh, so what is the potential here, or how much of the water can be held in, and how much of this hyaluronic do you have? You can have a very minute amount of this type of hyaluronic acid and a really large concentration of its moisture holding capacity. So for that, we have the adequate supply of moisture in the skin, so for plump, kind of firming, but also anti-wrinkle kind of effect in the skin. Now, vitamin E is added for its potential as an anti-free radical. So it is something that can very effectively protect the cell membrane, and does have that lipophilic effect, which can very easily be, it can assimilate into your cell membranes quickly and your even external barrier of the skin. It is a super, super powerful ingredient that helps to kind of smooth the skin and give skin a very quick relief if the skin is anyway compromised. So sensitized or in some ways the barrier functionality is just not there. We also do have Marula Oil. This is a very, very fashionable ingredient right now. It comes from Marula tree fruits, which you can see there's these type of seed pods. They kind of resemble olive fruit, but they're not quite the same thing. They originate from Africa. And with Marula Oil, we do get stearic and palmitic acids. Those are kind of the natural composition of your own lipidic lipidic functionality within your skin. And we also do get polyphenols, we do get vitamin C and gamma tocopherols, which are your kind of main antioxidant components here. So overall, this actually does contribute to the lipidic replenishing, moisture binding, and anti-inflammatory effect within the skin. So super, super kind of lively giving type of effect. So almond oil is a product that is definitely given to a lot of different formulas out there. It is well tolerated, even if you do have sometimes nut allergies. We're always looking at inclusion of the first pressed oils within the Schrammek product so that you don't really have any of that issue. But it does give you that high fatty acid, unsaturated fatty acid compounds, which are linoleic and oleic acids, which are contributors to the natural barrier building lipids within the skin. So lots of lipidic protection. I know it kind of sounds like I'm repeating the same thing, but it is something that sometimes it's lacking in skincare. And we do have hydrating ingredients that clients are, a lot of clients will say, I don't even use a moisturizer. Well, that's a mistake. And you should be using it because you do need to protect the external factors of your skin. And speaking of that, the most nourishing ingredient that will be incorporated into a lot of the Schrammek products here in Ageless Future is Shea Butter. And Shea Butter is, again, originates from a seed pod of this pariki type plant from Africa. Again, lots of African plants here incorporated. But what this actually has, it has a high, approximately about 10% composition of phytosterols, oleic acid again, tocopherols, and omega free fatty acid chain. So this is something that we can incorporate as an occlusive barrier building type of ingredient. So it is featured in our nighttime cream for a very specific reason, that it does kind of heighten the viscosity of the product for you and your client to really take advantage from the nighttime kind of standpoint. We also do have the Rosemary Glucoside, which I mentioned before. This is only in the Ageless Future Serum. And it is also an ingredient that is very widely featured in Time Control in Dr. Schrammek range of the mature skin type of skin conditions type of care. So we are actually looking here at an ingredient which comes from this rosemary type plant. And it is actually very, very high in polyphenol content. So super bioavailable, extremely stable ingredient. It is actually in its action something that can contribute to minimizing some of the matrix metalloproteinase activity within the skin. So your collagenase, your elastase, and hyaluronidase, which are the main enzymes that are really responsible for a lot of the breakdown activity in the skin. So those are produced, of course, by the fibroblasts themselves, and they can be halted to some degree or held in that state of inactivity, so to protect your skin further against aging. But they typically are activated by sun exposure or some type of free radical action within the skin. So really, in addition to this, there's also a very strong calming anti-inflammatory effect, because obviously inflammation could be the result of degradation or some type of free radical activity. So overall, from everything that we've reviewed today, you can see that the main selling tips for this line are that it combats energetic skin aging, it reduces the breakdown of collagen, it stimulates collagen synthesis, regenerates and protects against premature skin aging, revitalizes, tightens, and supports, firms the skin structures. It is also developed according to the latest research. So really, with that inclusion of the Oleavite, the gold award winner of one of the newest ingredients in cosmetics today. And of course, with addition of the all-natural bakuchiol, which could be the kind of alternative to a lot of clients who were not successful at using retinoic acid in any other form. So with that, we also promise our consumers, like always, with Dr. Schrammek products, we use products that do not include parabens, which unfortunately are not something that's wanted by the general public today. Mineral oil, which has also kind of fallen out of fashion with our consumers. Silicone oils or any type of emulsifiers that sometimes do have disruptive effect on the skin's surface, particularly to kind of the lipidic functionality within the skin. You know that anybody that has ever used a very high containing product, especially when it comes to polyethylene glycols, sometimes they do come back and say that the product has actually managed to disrupt their barrier and let them sensitize. None of that will ever happen with any of the Ageless Future or any other formula in Dr. Schrammek range as well. So with that, I want to leave you with these ideas, with this breakthrough technology that is within the products here today. Absolutely fantastic line of products. I am sure that you and your clients are going to really, really love it. I have noticed effects of it within the first few times I have used it, and I guarantee that this is something that your clients are going to see as well. If you want to look at the product, if you want to get any information about wholesale pricing of the product, of course, this is for professionals only, please do take a look on our website at euroessentials.com. And this is what you can get a lot of the information there once you get a login information. And for those of you who are already our clients, your logins are established. You can also follow us on Instagram at Essentials. This is our kind of main platform where we, advertise a lot of the upcoming training type of events. We also do talk about our promotions or anything like that, so that will be communicated to you there. If you are a hardcore Dr. Schrammek user, you know that Your Essentials is the sole distributor of Dr. Schrammek products and green pill in particular here across Canada. And of course, we do have a lot of communication that happens to be about Dr. Schrammek particularly, and that is our Facebook platform, Dr. Schrammek Canada. We do have one sort of overall, communication platform there too, which is Your Essential Spa Supplies. And recently, we added our YouTube channel, where a lot of the webinars or any type of anything digitally that we've done in terms of our education, or a lot of the marketing materials that you can request from us are featured there as well for Dr. Schrammek and other lines that we carry here as well. So do visit it. We do have it. It's Your Essentials If you just type that in into the search engine on YouTube, it will bring you to our channel and you can watch it then. Okay, so this is it for me today. Thank you very much for giving me a pleasure of your time, and hopefully you got enough information about the product. If at all you are in need of more information, do contact us directly. All of the contact information is on our website, so you know how to reach out to us, or via our multiple social media platforms. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and Ageless Future is a step away.